Today I'm going to be testing the Hiboy EX9 Urban Commuter electric bike. This e-bike has a dual-sided torque sensor, a screen that's built right into the handlebars, a max range of up to 62 miles, a max speed of 28 miles per hour. There's a light in the front, a light in the back, a convenient step-through design, and a 750 watt motor. So next up, I'm going to take it for a ride, and if you're here to watch assembly, that'll be towards the end of the video. Most e-bikes have 5 pedal assist levels. This one only has 3. Right now it's on 0, which just makes it a regular bike, no motor. You can use them that way too. But to engage the motor, you just use the plus and minus buttons to adjust the pedal assist. So it goes all the way to 3. It does not round robin, so you have to click the minus button to go down. The max speed, it varies. If you're pedaling, they say it goes up to 28 miles an hour. And if you're just using the throttle, so it's just this little lever you pull down right here, then it goes 20 miles an hour. So let's test that out. First, throttle. And I do have it on pedal assist 3. Yep, 20. And I'm curious to see if it's the same on all pedal assist modes or if it's different. So right now I have it on 1. Let's try the throttle again. Yep, no matter which pedal assist mode you have it in, it doesn't matter. It caps the speed at 20 miles an hour. Personally, I prefer when the throttle caps at a certain speed depending on what pedal assist mode I'm on. So with 1 being the lowest speed and then 3 in this case, normally 5, but in this one 3 being the full speed, which would be 20. But no, all of them same speed. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to hold it all the way down and go full speed, but I feel like it's a little jerky if I try to go any slower. It's the smoothest at 20 miles per hour. But again, I'm filming this one-handed, and unless an e-bike has fat tires, I just don't feel that stable. If I'm using both hands, I absolutely do feel stable. It's just not one-handed. So now I'm gonna put it on pedal assist 3, pedal as hard as I can, and I also have it on the hardest gear to pedal in, gear 7. Let's see how fast I can get it to go. It goes exactly 28 miles an hour, and then it will not go any faster. Unless maybe you're going down a hill. On pedal assist mode, it does seem to cap the speed. So on pedal assist 1, I got it around 20. On pedal assist 2, it was like 24 miles per hour. And then 3, it went max speed. And then once it hits 28 miles per hour, you kind of feel like it cuts the power off to the bike so that it doesn't go any faster. The harder I pedal, the faster I go, but it does cap it at 28 miles an hour when I'm pedaling. What's unique about this, well, at least I think it is, because up until this moment, I didn't know that you could have a dual torque sensor, so it's on both sides. A lot of people seem to prefer torque sensors because it feels more like a real bike instead of an e-bike, so it responds to how hard you're pedaling, not just you pedaling. Because with a cadence sensor, pedaling is just super easy breezy. Not that it isn't easy on here, but with cadence, it's just, as long as you're pedaling, it'll get to a certain speed and just kind of hang out there with 0 effort, very little effort. The motor is located in the center of the rear wheel. It is 750 watts with a 1000 watt peak. And this is powered by a 48 volt, 11.6 ampere hour removable waterproof battery. But don't go throwing your battery in the water. It is still a lithium ion battery, so it can handle a little bit of rain, but I do recommend still drying everything off when you get the bike back inside. Normally, I would say with an e-bike, you really don't need to mess around with the gears. This has a Shimano 7-speed gear shift system, but because it's a torque sensor, the gears do come in handy. I actually don't feel comfortable taking this bike off-road, so the only hill I can really test it on is this one, which is like 4 to 6 degrees, so it's really not much of a hill. I'm gonna just leave it on the hardest gear to pedal in at this point, because I know it can do it. And pedal assist 1. Well, let's see if it can do it. I know you should be on a lower gear for a hill, but here we go. Pedal assist 1, gear 7. Oh, it's a workout. It's definitely a workout. Let's try gear 2. More assistance from the motor, it's easier to pedal. And gear 3. Oh yeah. Now it's a breeze. The reason I don't really want to take this off-road is mostly because of the tread on the tires. Not that it's a commuter bike, because I've done that before with commuters, but look at this tread. This is definitely designed more for city riding. I don't feel it's grippy enough to take this off-road. So these wheels are 26 inches in diameter and then 2.5 inches wide. But even though it's a city commuter, there's still suspension in the front. Here I'm showing it fully open, so it's a more bouncy ride, but if you flip this little lever, you can lock that into place for a more rigid ride. The brakes on this are hydraulic disc brakes, so instead of a cable like mechanical disc brakes, these use mineral oil to stop. Hydraulic disc brakes are more responsive, but they are a little bit more maintenance. I'm only using one brake on a hill. The EX9 has quite a rider height range, all the way from 4'9" to 6'5". For reference, I am 5 feet 8 inches. As a taller lady, oftentimes bikes feel kind of small on me, but with this one, not at all. I remember back in the day, a step-through design was a women's bike, but now I guess it's both men's and women's. It does make it easier to get on the bike and off as well. According to the company, and this is oddly specific, if you're 143 pounds, you're going to get 31 miles on a single charge in full electric mode. On pedal assist mode, 62 miles. So the max range is up to 62 miles, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get 62 miles. Even on a pedal assist mode, it has to be flat paved ground, just ideal weather conditions. And if you're 330 pounds, which is the max payload that this bike can carry, don't expect to get 62 miles out of a single charge. Oh yeah, and that's pedal assist 1 up to 62 miles. I don't know if it looks like it or not, but I'm sick. This video was supposed to come out like a week ago, but I got super sick and really haven't done much with bikes. So a lot of this is going to be narrated because what you're not seeing is the constant coughing and blowing my nose, which I gotta pull over and do that. To turn on the bike, you don't need a key. That is just for removing the battery. You hold down the power button until the screen lights up. The screen looks a bit crazy right here because of my camera's frame rate. In reality, it's not like this. It's steady. The lights aren't flashing. To turn on the headlight and the rear light, you hold down the plus button, and these lights aren't that visible in the daylight, as you can see here, but this is like bright sunlight. So let me take it somewhere a little bit darker so you can check out the rear light. And when you hit the brakes, here I'm hitting the brakes over and over again, you can see that it lights up even more. Oh yeah, and there's also kind of a hidden little USB port on the bottom here so that you can easily connect your phone. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about this screen, but it's not bad. I haven't had any issues not being able to see it or anything like that, so yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. Not sure if I prefer that over the regular mounted type, but it's unique. The bell I'm not a fan of. It's just a little dingy bell. I prefer the electronic bells. I guess that's not really a bell anymore. Electronic horns. The seat is not the softest thing in the world. It's actually not that soft at all, but my bum does not hurt. It is a little slippery, slidey, but I wear polyester, so it could be that. When the seats are too wide and comfy, sometimes that can affect pedaling, so I kind of appreciate this seat because it didn't get in the way of my thigh. At the time that I'm filming this, the price of the bike is $1,234.99. I don't know if that's going to change by the time I post it or not, or if there's any coupon codes, but if I do have any, those will be down below in the video's description. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't, and if I do, they do eventually expire. Well, not all of them, but some do, so if it's not working, that would be why. Sorry. Yeah, these e-bikes are not cheap, but with this one you're getting a dual torque sensor, and torque sensors are more expensive for companies to put in than a cadence sensor. Okay, I'm done now. I'm gonna go home, blow my nose, and get under the blankets and in front of my computer to edit this video. Toodaloo, that's my cheesy outro, and apparently I am sticking with it. Bye. Alrighty then, so that completes my test ride, and for the remainder of the video is assembly. Before before I assemble this, first I want to see what's in this box. Ooh, that's nice how they have everything laid out. So there is a manual, the charger, the cable to it, and for those of you that care, go ahead and pause the video if you want to see the specs. Yeah, a little headlight. Looks like these are plastic pedals. A baggie of tools, and what is that? I think it might be for the brakes. Maybe it's just replacement parts. And lastly is a quick release. These do look dinky, but this is not what's holding out the weight of the bike. Oh, and there was another little bag that came out of the box. Ah, yes. It is a phone holder. Oh, and look, first time I've seen a brand have their own phone holder. It's usually just a generic one. I usually don't follow instructions in any way in life at all. Like when I applied for a job with the government for an entry-level accountant position, got 100% on math, but following instructions, we're not gonna talk about that score. Oh, look at this. It looks like the screen is right here. I've never seen anything like it. I wonder how that's gonna work out. I guess we'll see. But first, I need this on the other side. There's a screw here and another one on the other side. I'm gonna loosen those up and rotate this to the front. Well, I don't want to damage my tool during this, so I'm gonna use one of theirs. Okay, now I can turn this. Oh boy, I might have to tighten that one down the same way I untightened it. I guess with the strength of 100 men, I can always readjust this. No, it's not so bad now that I loosened up the screw, but wow, that was really in there. So this thing is adjustable, and to do that, you gotta loosen up the screw right here. Okay. Or not. That's what the manual says. Oh, there we go. I really don't know where I want this yet, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. And now I need to remove these 4 screws and this piece. Make sure these are facing the correct way. And then plop them into that spot. So now this goes back along with the rest of the screws. Normally at this point I install the front wheel, but I think I'm gonna put on the fender and the light first. So there's a little screw here that I gotta pull out, skewer the light, skewer the fender, screw everything back in. And while I'm here, I might as well connect the light. And down here, there's also a couple screws I gotta take out to attach the fender. So now down here, I have to take this out. And once this is out, do not hit the brakes. And I also need to remove this. To put on the front wheel, it's easiest just to flip the bike at this point. And for an e-bike, it's not that heavy. But there's kind of a lot going on right here. I don't want to damage and I don't feel like moving, so I'm gonna do this my way. So I just straddle the wheel, making sure I'm not touching the rotor, that metal piece on the other side, and I'm just gonna put the bike over the wheel. On the quick release, I'm gonna leave some of this stuff on here and then take the other half off, but leave it in the same order. And same position too. So this little spring, the little side will go in. Skewer the wheel, and then there's this little washer with a hook. I'm gonna put the hook through the hole. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a hole. And then over here on the other side, spring, washer with hook, and the cap. And you kind of have to fiddle around with both sides to get the right tension. Some people say you have to put this on really tight. Others say not too tight. I'm just gonna meet you guys in the middle. And lastly are the pedals. And they are really concerned with you putting them on the wrong way. So there's even a sticker here telling you which direction to turn in. Oh no, that's one of those stickers that leaves a mess. Oh, look at that. Why? I don't feel like getting that off. Well, if that's what they wanted, that's what they got. I'm gonna leave it. Probably not a good idea to put that type of sticker there. So the right one goes on clockwise and then the left one goes in the opposite direction. Or maybe I wasn't supposed to remove the stickers because I'm seeing a bunch of yellow warning stickers all over the place, destroying the look of the bike. So I don't know. Okie dokie, she's assembled.